Good evening! My name is Arlene. Welcome to WonderFest World Stream Series. So thrilled for our show today. If you're new to our show, we are here on Facebook every Thursdays at 7 p.m. and Sundays at 12 p.m. to cater to as many time zones as we possibly can. And today we have a wonderful singer-songwriter who I am excited to meet in person, but today we are meeting virtually. Brielle Ansems joins us from Charlottetown, Prince Edward Island. I wanted to say PEI and then my mouth went faster. Anyway, before we start, we acknowledge the land we are meeting on is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, and the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit. All right, so to start things off, I'm going to share a new song. Today is None of It Day. I think actually all provinces and territories have their own day, and today is none of it. So, and we're going to be chatting about that. This is a new song. I'm calling it Mother Earth. Actually, no, that's not the title. It's called This Can't Happen Twice. It was highly influenced by a documentary, a lot of documentaries I've been watching, and it was, the title of the documentary is similar to the hook. Anyway, I would like to introduce to you from Prince Edward Island, Brielle Ansems.
Hello.
Hi.
It's so nice to Yeah, it's so nice to sort of meet you.
Yeah, and you know what? It's the closest we're gonna get for now, I think.
Yeah, and we're lucky to be able to have technology like this that lets us do this.
Oh my gosh, 100%. Can you imagine back
Hmm.
when people had pagers, or even before that? Like,
Well,
how would
that's
we do
yeah.
things like this?
Yeah, it's so strange. It's a good perspective to keep in mind that, past generations have gone through things like wars and pandemics and stuff and not been able to see people they love, and they didn't have any of this to keep in
That's
touch.
true,
So,
yeah.
yeah.
Sweet. Well, I'm excited. Let's have you take us away with your first two songs.
Yeah, sure. So this first song was the first single to come off my album This New Hurricane. It's called More Than My Heart. If divinity were in my hand like a cigarette, I'd take a breath, let it take me in, let it make me a fool for it. If my lungs could handle it, what a relief. Never mind cancer, I would depend on it. If I had a prayer or someone to pray to, don't you think I would? Don't you think I want to? There's a desperate light in the depths of the dark, wishing I had a way to give you more than my heart. But it's all I've got for you right now. If I could twist your arm, stem the flow like a tourniquet, I'd take the red, paint it something fresh, make it something less frightening. If my arms could reach that far, they would wrap around us both. Sweetheart, I would hold you. If I had a choice, or if I could choose for you, don't you think I would? Don't you know I adore you? There's a desperate light in the depths of the dark, wishing I had a way to give you more than my heart. But it's all I've got for you right now. If I had a prayer for someone to pray to, don't you think I would? Don't you think I want to? There's a desperate light and it's dancing in the dark, wishing I had a way to give you more than my heart. But it's all I've got for you right now. It's all I've got for you right now. It's all I've got for you right now. Thanks for listening, everybody. Very happy to be here. This next one's a newer tune, which hopefully will be on the next album, which I'm headed into studio next month to start working on. It's a song, loosely speaking, it's a song about depression and the barrier that can cause in relationships, and how it can kind of make you worry that you're never going to really connect with people. It's called Lover's Coal. Dug me a grave in a mountainside with walls of earth and stone. Men came by with their picks and pride. The last of all my lovers cold. And the air was stale and thin, and the mountain swallowed me. And it grinned its bloody grin, said, I'm holding you till your love wakes up again. Sang me a song of the home I knew, hills of emerald green, dreamt of eyes that were clear and blue, a sight that never more I'll see. And the air was stale and thin, and the mountain swallowed me, and it grinned its bloody grin, said, I'm holding you till your love wakes up again. Oh, and way down in darkness is some deep black pride. All the memories of heartache that I buried alive. Bring me to my restitution, way down my eyes, with coins of your forgiveness and a shroud of linen white. Coins of your forgiveness and a shroud of linen white. And the air was stale and thin, and the mountain swallowed me, and it grinned its bloody grin, said, I'm holding you. And the air was stale and thin, and the mountain swallowed me, and it grinned its bloody grin, said, I'm holding you till your love wakes up again, said, I'm holding you till your love wakes up again.
Woo! Beautiful!
Thank you.
That was gorgeous. Thank you again for being here with us.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here. It's I feel like we're all itching to have opportunities to share music right now.
Oh,
so
for sure.
I'm definitely grateful for it.
And you actually, we were chatting backstage, and where a cat is. But you just released an EP, this new Hurricane, and you've got your show coming up next week. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, so I released this new Hurricane. It's a 7-track album. It came out in March, on March 6th. And then I had my release show, a full band, like 7-piece band show planned for like March 20th. And that was the week that quarantine hit. So
Yeah.
yeah, so so that certainly didn't happen, and it's been rescheduled like several times now at this point. So now I'm doing a solo set at the Trailside here on PEI next Wednesday, and it's sold out. It's my first sold out Trailside show, so that was very exciting.
Ah,
Yeah.
congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a good marker of progress for me too, because I've been playing at the Trailside for years. It's one of the bigger, like more well-known venues on the island, and you know, when I was just starting out, like as a teenager, I would do like opening sets and stuff there, and I've been doing that for years.
Wow.
So yeah, so to be headlining a night and have it sell out, that was a really good feeling.
Amazing. And I bet it's even more memorable or even more exciting because we have been, self-isolated,
Yeah.
quarantined, whatever the words that
Mm-hmm.
people like to call it. Like now it's, I bet it's going to be something even more special to play in front of people.
I really think so.
For
It's
you.
one of those things where I didn't realize how much I personally got out of performing for people, because I have a lot of like social anxiety, and it comes out especially on stage. I feel very I feel very awkward and unskilled at like the set bantery kind of things, but I didn't realize how much it meant to me as a person, as a human, to share my art with people and connect with people in that live sense where their energy is kind of right there feeding into you. So I'm very, very, very excited to be able to get back to that.
This will be your first show since, like, your first show in front of
Yeah.
real
Yeah,
people in person, right?
yeah, since I think my last one was sometime in February. Yeah, so very, very, very excited.
I'm so excited for you.
Yeah, it's interesting watching because the like the Atlantic provinces are because we're sort of like very insular. We've had an easier time, I think, keeping our COVID situation under control. So
Right.
it's interesting to see how we're progressing and how that might be able to spread to other provinces. So yeah, it's especially with something like the music industry, we're kind of all tentatively moving forward with things because
Right.
second wave's going to come at some point. So we're all like we're all leaping at chances to perform in case it gets taken away again.
That's true. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And how have you been during it? Is there something that you've learned about yourself? Are there things that you like, hobbies that you picked up?
I've been all right. I've been all right. I've started running for the first time in my life. I've never been a very
Oh,
active
nice.
person, so that's been something. I've been trying to teach myself banjo, which you can see in the background there.
I saw it. Yeah.
That's definitely. And I joined a rec softball league, which again, like I'm not an athlete at all. I'm terrible at it, but we're on a team of all island musicians, and this is
Oh, that's
kind of
cool.
yeah, it's a rare opportunity where we all have time on our hands, like on the same nights. Usually we're all playing on the same like gigging hours in different venues,
Right.
so we never actually get to hang out together. So yeah, we started a softball team, which is interesting, but it's definitely challenging. I feel like it's a lot more work these days to take care of ourselves, like emotionally and mentally.
Mm-hmm.
And luckily, I'm fairly open about my mental health experiences, and I'm on antidepressants for the first time. I started them like back in November, so I'm very grateful that I kind of got settled into that before quarantine hit, because I think I would have struggled a lot more. But I'm just kind of staying grateful and taking whatever opportunities I can to take care of myself and to take care of other people, and
Mm-hmm.
try not to let the state of the world drive me to insanity.
Yeah. And it's funny that you say that, because I wanted to bring up the state of the world into our conversation, and you're completely right in terms of, we can get caught up in so much, and how do we handle it. I want to actually bring up Kat, because we've been educating ourselves throughout this time.
Hi.
With, history. There's Kat. If you guys don't know, I keep doing that the wrong way.
I know.
You guys don't know who Kat is.
Oh.
She is artistic director of Let's Make Good Productions with me here. But yeah, so we're educating ourselves, and what I wanted to discuss was the things that we were taught growing up is not really what happened, I guess, or especially in Canadian history. I've been diving into a lot of learning about the Indigenous here in Canada and how they've been treated, and now they are the song that I wrote was a reflection on one of the documentaries, but it's,
I was gonna say, Arlene, I love that tune.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
I love it a lot. Yeah.
Thank you.
Sorry, I cut you off. I know the
No, that's
documentary is named after too, but yeah, no, I loved it. Continue.
Yeah. Well, just started rambling. I don't know where it was going, but
Great, I ruined it.
But I wanted, because because actually I didn't know where it was going, so I'm glad I did. Because today is None of It Day, Brielle, I thought I told Kat, and she was like, oh, we should maybe talk about the things that are going on, and also we chatted behind the scenes about how we were taught different things growing up, right? And then learning,
very frustrating.
Yeah, learning the truth now. It's like
it's like, I want my money back. That was not a full education. I want my money back. Yeah, that was robbed.
Yeah. And there's, I have a lot of hesitation sometimes, because I'm a white woman. So I speaking out about these issues. I'm always kind of very careful about how much I say, because it's not really I've been doing my best the past few months to amplify the voices in the BIPOC community. But I also do think it's important for me to keep the conversation going in my own circles as much as possible, because really, as a very white woman, I think we should be just as angry in how we weren't taught our own history, because it's not just Indigenous history, it's not just Black history, it's our own history that we just straight up weren't taught. I remember sitting in social studies class as a kid, and it mentioned residential schools in the textbooks, but it was like maybe half a page before we moved on, and it just seems so ridiculous. And especially living in a place like PEI, where this is where Confederation happened.
Right.
We've been there's been a lot of sort of internal bickering over, because we've got statues of John A. Macdonald, who he created the RCMP specifically to essentially commit genocide on the Indigenous peoples. And we've got a statue of him right in Charlottetown that's used as a photo op. And
is there talk about, sorry to cut you off, is there talk about removing that statue at all?
There's been a lot of talk and no action. It's been vandalized a couple of times, actually, and they're talking about bringing in the artist to fix it, because it was somebody splattered it with red paint, and they tried to clean it, and it just does not look. It's
you can't wash that blood away, man. Canada's blood stains cannot be washed away.
And the thing is, if you're gonna keep a statue like that, put a statue of an Indigenous person right next to it. Put a plaque describing what he actually did, because it frustrates me that people will come here and think that we're idolizing this person who was horrible.
Yeah. I wanted to speak to you a little bit about the feeling, because I have this, similar feelings about being white, and, it is our fight too. You know, I feel like I was implicitly made an accomplice in this system because I benefit from this system. So I need to take full responsibility
it's
and
our problem
dismantling
to
it.
fix.
Absolutely. It's our problem to fix. And, you know, I can relate to your hesitation about saying the wrong thing or doing, you know, it's got to be other people's voices, as they have to be risen up for sure. But I feel like our voices are also important to say this is wrong and it needs to be dismantled. And I no longer want to benefit from this system. This is bad. And, you know, we can't be afraid. We can't be quiet because we're afraid of making mistakes. We're going to make mistakes. You know, there's so many mistakes to be had, and then we learn more, and we get better, and
One of the biggest things that we need to be willing to do is be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
To be embarrassed at how little we know, because that's the only way that you learn, is to be willing to be wrong, and be open to being re-educated on these issues. Like, it doesn't make sense to get defensive and because like that's not how progress is made.
No.
Sitting. We had a Black Lives Matter march in town a few weeks ago, and it was then followed by a march for Indigenous people, and there was a huge rally after the Black Lives Matter, and it was the biggest rally I've ever seen happen on PEI. There were like thousands of people turned up, which was amazing. But it's like, I came away with such like, there were moments where I was definitely uncomfortable because I knew that, like, me and people like me were being called out for not having spoken up sooner.
Yeah.
And it's natural to have that instinct to go like, oh, but I'm not racist. But it comes down to the thing, like, it's not enough to just not racist. You have to be actively against racism and do your best to amplify BIPOC voices. And so that's kind of where I'm sitting right now, is not just brushing aside my discomfort, but actually analyzing what it is that's making me uncomfortable, why it's making me uncomfortable, and is it necessary? Is like, what is the thing that this feeling is trying to teach me about how I'm living my life, and how can I change it?
Wow, that's a great realization to I just obviously am speechless because of that discovery that you've made.
Well, and again, I feel weird talking about it too, because it's literally just the bare minimum that I feel like we have to do. Like, I just I don't want it to sort of crawl into the territory of like performative allyship. That's why I'm like, a lot of the education that I'm doing is internal, like, I don't,
behind the scennes type thing.
That's
important.
And it's and a lot of the conversations are because a lot of the time the pressure falls on people of color to educate white people, which is unfair, because that puts so much emotional and mental strain on them. Like, if this is stuff that they've been living with their entire lives, it shouldn't be up to them to re-educate us. It's our responsibility to do that work. So a lot of the conversations that I'm having are with other white people, being like, okay, how can we do better as a community? So that's, and I'm lucky enough to have a really wonderful circle, like social circle, that are all kind of on the same page of, okay, what do we do better?
Wow, that's great.
So it's been a very enlightening couple of months, and it's actually I had my first experience with having to actually make a personal sacrifice when it comes to these sort of issues, that I had to choose my moral values over a job opportunity, and also a relationship with a mentor that meant a lot to me personally, but we just weren't on the same page. it's the first time where I was like, okay, this is my first real opportunity to put my money where my mouth is. I can't call myself an ally and do things that I know in my heart just aren't right to do.
Right.
And I think it's those little moments that, like nobody really knows the specifics on that situation, but I know in my heart that it was the right decision to make. And I feel like keeping those conversations up among my own community and encouraging people to do that same thing, like to be willing to pull back when we need to and make space for diversity is so important. And it's going to be really, really hard, but it's not as hard as the discrimination that these people have been facing for generations. So yeah.
It's the bare minimum and least that we can do.
Yeah, exactly.
To your
That's
point.
true.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that this conversation has inspired other people to also, educate. Like Kat and I, that's our circle. We talk about we have a couple other people who've joined us where we'd send each other documentaries or podcasts, and we talk amongst ourselves. So yeah, thank you for
and
that.
There's stuff everywhere too. Like there's not a single streaming service that doesn't have, especially right now, like even Disney Plus has a specific like celebrate Black stories category. Go on there, see people of color represented, see them telling their own stories.
Right.
Look at the directors, see who are making those stories, because sometimes it's like it's a story about Black people and it's directed by this middle-aged white man. So I've been doing a little bit more research in terms of that, like seeing who's on a production team for stuff as well. That's to make sure that the stories are actually being told by the right people.
Nice.
Yeah, awesome. I think the conversation that is happening is wonderful, and it's much needed.
And just the beginning.
Yeah, just the beginning. True. Yes, keep this momentum going.
Yeah.
Sure, 100%. Well, well, thanks, Kat, for joining us.
Thanks for having me. See ya.
Of course. Thanks for being backstage. Kat's our tech girl for our shows. She's the one who puts all these awesome keys and things like that. So anyway, Brielle, which song are you going to take us away with?
I'm going to close off with another new-ish tune. It's a song called Bitter One. I've been playing around with some like Otis Redding and Sam Cooke kind of influences.
Yes.
So it's a little more soulful.
Awesome. Take it away.
Have a bitter one on me. Slip some poison in that honey. Tell me all the lies you need to make the truth go down. And if it helps, you can make the reasons longer. You can talk until it hurts. Oh, if it helps. Have a bitter one on me. Slip some poison in that honey. Tell me all the lies you need to make the truth go down. Well, I know you with your bad still be my man. I know you're scared of what we might have, but you could still be my man. If I cry, trust me, I can cry much harder. So don't you soften just for me. Oh, if I cry, have a bitter, bitter one on me. Slip some poison in that honey. Well, tell me all the lies you need. Oh, to make the truth go down. Tell me all the lies you need to make the truth go down.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
Thank you.
Such a good tune, Brielle. Wow.
Thank you. It's probably, for me, it's the most fun song for me to play right now.
That's awesome. And then you get all that grit. You gave us a little bit of the grit.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I want to learn how to do that. I've been like using this pandemic to try to figure out how to do that. I'm still trying to learn. Anyway, thank you so much for your time. I wish you all the best at your release next week.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. This is wonderful. I love grabbing opportunities like this to share with other artists. So it's lovely.
Amazing. Enjoy. Stay safe out there, and I look forward to seeing you in real life.
Yes,
I mean, in
you
person.
too. You
I have
too.
to stop saying real life because this is real life.
It feels like we're in a simulation or something right now. Like we're on one giant like apocalyptic video game. I don't know. Oh,
That's
my.
funny. All right. Well, take care, Brielle.
Yes, you too.
That was Brielle Ansems. She was singing from Charlottetown, Prince Edward Island, and she's celebrating her latest release, an EP release, in her hometown next week, which is sold out. You can follow her on Instagram. I'm sure she's got her music online, and I forgot to ask her that, but I'm sure she does. She will. I bet. I hope. Thank you so much to Kat Leonard. She is making this show look great. And thank you to you guys for joining us here on the WonderFest World Stream Series. Our next show is on Sunday at 12 p.m. right here. And we're also on YouTube. And we've got our good friend Heather Hill. She's going to be performing from Blue Mountain, Ontario. See you on Sunday. Stay safe.